My pleasure. Thank you.
I see the lead sponsor sitting out in the committee. If he would like to maybe come and speak to the bill, answer some questions that has arisen that maybe he might have some input on. Welcome to our committee in the West Wing. If you will, state your name for the record.
I am Brandon Steele, delegate from the 29th, chairman of House GovOrg.
Delegate, if you will, just maybe give a little reasoning for introducing this bill and answer some questions that has arisen during this committee process.
Well, I've had the benefit of listening to a lot of the debate today, and I appreciate you guys taking this bill up. It's very important to a lot of people in the House, as well as a lot of people across the state. I introduced this bill because of what we're facing on a federal level. You can't ignore the fact that Congress has, at least on the House of Representatives side, passed a bill that would outlaw 30-round magazines, or any magazine above 10 rounds, that would outlaw rifles that are semi-automatic, that would include your modern sporting rifles, such as an AR-15 and so forth. There's a lot of things in that bill that did pass Congress, or at least the House of Representatives, that would not be right now illegal under West Virginia law. One of the things that we need to focus on in this bill that I've always thought is what is illegal under West Virginia law. You know, one of the big fears that comes out as we listen to law enforcement and other individuals that are maybe been federal prosecutors in the past or something like that is that maybe somebody's going to get a hold of a rocket launcher. That's already illegal under West Virginia law. Can't get a rocket launcher. Can't get a machine gun. Can't get a silenced weapon that's not already licensed by the federal government. You can't get a short-barreled shotgun that's not already licensed by the federal government under the NFA. Those things are already illegal under West Virginia law. So what does this bill point at is the ultimate question. This bill points at federal gun law that is not already illegal under West Virginia law. Okay, so the talk about drug task force and these kind of things, myself, I've been a prosecutor for the Beckley-Raleigh County Drug and Violent Crime Task Force. I was for a great period of time. I handled their criminal prosecutions. I handled their asset forfeitures and various other cases. And I can tell you that they go after drugs. They don't go after guns. It's not a big thing that's going on in Beckley and Raleigh County. And I'll tell you that Raleigh County has one of the worst drug problems in the state. But we've never been hampered by getting held up on federal gun law. As a matter of fact, I've prosecuted individuals that have traded guns for narcotics. In one particular case, it was an individual that went around buying up legal West Virginia firearms to trade to neo-Nazis out of Oklahoma, who went and took those guns to the border, to the cartel in Mexico, and traded those guns for narcotics and brought them back to West Virginia. And that individual sold narcotics throughout southern West Virginia and Raleigh and Wyoming County and Mercer County. I prosecuted him on state law. So the concerns that you're hearing today about drug and violent crime task forces being completely defunded are completely null and void. I mean, this is a lot of conjecture, because we have cases like Prince versus United States, in which the federal government has already said, our U.S. Supreme Court has already said, that you cannot withhold funding because you refuse to enforce a federal law that is not actually state law as well. Okay? So what these anti-commandeering cases have said is the federal government doesn't get to grab your Wyoming County Sheriff's deputy and say, hey, go out and take Johnny's 30-round magazine. Because we all know Johnny's got 30-round magazines. I've got them. I mean, you've probably got 20 of them yourself. You know, that's the thing, is are we going to use our state law enforcement to go grab this stuff? Okay? That's what the bill's all about. Rocket launchers, grenades, machine guns, silenced weapons, short-barrel shotguns. That's already illegal under West Virginia law. If you want to use a gun in a drug crime, you want to use a gun to rob a bank, rob a convenience store, already illegal under West Virginia law. That is not going to hold our law enforcement up. What this bill about is doing your job as a representative of the people to protect their firearms rights, their Second Amendment rights, from infringement by an overzealous federal government. And what do we mean by an overzealous federal government? A government that is going to make things illegal that aren't necessarily should be illegal under executive orders, under actions of Congress that are invalid or unconstitutional. It takes our law enforcement out of the realm of enforcing laws that are questionable and says, hey, look, if you guys want to do this, by all means, make your federal gun law, go enforce it yourself. We're not going to participate because we're not sure about it. Let me give you another example. And this is one of the things I talked to the Speaker about when we talked about this bill. The Speaker, myself, we're both attorneys. I work in corporate law. I work for a trucking company. The Speaker is probably one of the most knowledgeable attorneys I've ever met in my life. And I said, Roger, you're heading down the road. You get pulled over by a Clay County Sheriff's deputy, and he finds a short-barrel shotgun in the seat. How is he to know whether that short-barrel shotgun meets the definition of the ATF regs? I don't know. He's never had a class from the academy on what the ATF regs are on a short-barrel shotgun. Let me give you an example. I've got a Shockwave, Mossberg Shockwave 590. It comes with a letter from the ATF. This shotgun is about that big. I get a letter from the ATF that comes with the shotgun that says this shotgun meets the definition of a legal shotgun under ATF regulations. Now, I'm paraphrasing. It's a long letter. It's about 4 pages. You get it when you buy the shotgun. I don't carry it in my car. I don't put it in my wallet. But if I had that shotgun in my car and a Clay County Sheriff's deputy pulls me over and he looks in this passenger seat and he sees that gun, without this bill, you're putting him in a position of determining whether or not that meets ATF regs. ATF regs are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages. There are court cases that go on forever and ever to determine whether or not that is a short-barrel shotgun. But what that letter does for me is the ATF tells me up front, I'm fine. I can buy that. I bought it from a registered dealer. I bought it from a firearms dealer, okay? And I said, Mr. Speaker, that Clay County Sheriff's deputy does not know whether or not that is a short-barrel shotgun because he's not had a class for 10 hours, 12 hours. He's not been a seasoned ATF agent for 6, 8 years where he's, operating a field post where he knows the definition of a short-barrel shotgun. He's a Clay County Sheriff's deputy. He's trying to go home at the end of the day. He's trying to keep his family alive, okay? He doesn't know federal law. But let's change it up for a second. Let's say that it's not a short-barrel shotgun in your passenger seat. It's an open briefcase. And the Speaker, myself, corporate lawyers, maybe the Speaker has documents from Monsanto in his briefcase opened up. Maybe those documents are inside information. Do you want that Clay County Sheriff's deputy to sit there and do an investigation on the side of the road to determine whether or not the Speaker of the House of Delegates is in possession of unlawful documents under the Insider Trading Act? Now, wait a minute. We don't want our sheriff's deputies and police officers doing that. We don't task them with doing that, of figuring out whether or not somebody has violated federal securities law. We don't do that. As a matter of fact, that deputy, that police officer probably look down and say, hey, shut your briefcase. Yeah, have a good one. Take on. That'd be the end of it. Another example. Got Kanawha County Sheriff's deputies. Maybe the city of Charleston, chief here. Maybe we need to give him a grant for $3 million to get a set of Erlenmeyer flasks to put in the trunk of every cruiser of every car in Kanawha County, every police car in Kanawha County, to go out and test Keymores, Bear, everybody else, as to whether or not they're violating EPA regulations by dumping stuff in the river. Are we doing that? No, we're not doing that. So why is this different? What I'm telling you is There are finite gun laws in the state of West Virginia that we've abided by for over 150 years. What we have right now is the threat, and the imposed threat, as it's been acted upon in Congress right now, to impose gun laws that a lot of people in this state feel would be unconstitutional, or in the alternative, infringe upon rights that are protected by the West Virginia Constitution. What we're telling our police officers is, we're not telling them to go fight the federal government. What we're telling them is, just back off. If these guys want to go do this, let them go do it themselves. They can spend their own money. Now, what Prince versus the United States says is, what that says is the federal government cannot withhold money from a state for the fact that they won't go out and enforce federal law. Now, I'm paraphrasing there, okay? On top of that, this bill, now I think there were questions earlier today about who wrote this bill, where did it come from, this, that, and the other. I'm a lawyer. I write my own bills for anybody that asked. I wrote my bill. This came from California. It comes from their sanctuary city laws. Those have been upheld in the Ninth Circuit when the Trump administration came to withhold money from the state of California for refusing to enforce federal immigration law. The Ninth Circuit has already upheld the same language that says that you can't withhold funds from a state because they won't enforce your federal law that is not also state law. So, you can decide right now. Either you don't like the bill or you do. Either you like gun rights or you don't. Vote against it, don't. It's up to you. Either you're going to stand for your constituents' Second Amendment rights, or you're going to fall in line with the bootlickers up in Congress that want to take your 30-round magazines, want to take your semi-automatic rifles from your citizens.
There is that the bill actually hasn't been moved, so the motion is to move the bill. Is there discussion?